I can't honestly do that and feel good about it. I'm not used to being on camera. Okay, we are here for the 1012 podcast live. Thank you everybody out there in YouTube land who is paying attention, watching us. We are doing something very special tonight that I came up with. I can't say this has been some long time plan. It was the spur of the moment, like, hey, this would be fun. And somehow it came together and I cannot wait. We are live pairing, taste testing. See about this, I gotta get used to this whole like live thing with music. It just starts over again. That is an expectation. That just sets the expectations for the night because we're going to kind of figure this out as we go. I am not alone for this fantastic idea. Props to the individuals you also see on your screen for buying into this. We are live taste test pairing beers from Manhattan Brewing Company with Pop-Tarts in honor of Kansas State being in the Pop-Tarts Bowl in Orlando. They have not so far said anything to us about this. So they didn't tell us we couldn't do this, so that we're going to try and do it anyways. As I mentioned, Manhattan Brewing Company is the brewery who has so graciously agreed to participate in this with us, in part because they're friends of the pod, and they're definitely friends of the podcast we're going to introduce. That is Scott McFarland. He is the host of Boscoe's Boys, the Kansas State show here for the 1012 network. Scott, welcome, man.
Yeah, I'm pumped for this. First and foremost, thank you, Philip, but more so, thank you to the Manhattan Brewing Company guys. They've now been sponsoring the show, I think, for close to 18 months. I'm happy. I think it works out, and I much prefer to talk about delicious craft beer versus chewable Viagra, which was our first ever sponsor. So I enjoy talking about craft beer a lot more than Blue Chew. So I want to thank those guys for being a great partner over the last 18 months, hopefully for the next 18 months until Chauncey tells me to stop doing this podcast. So thank you, Philip, but more thank you to those three gentlemen right there. Not only do they create the best beer in the state of Kansas and region, they help make Boscoe's Boys go.
So I need these three gentlemen to introduce themselves. These are the crew from Manhattan Brewing Company. Guys, who are you?
So hi, I'm Jake.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Garrett. We're the three owners of Manhattan Brewing Company. Production on either side of Jake here. He does all the social media, sales, marketing, talking. So
he talks a lot.
Yeah, we've been open since July of 2020, which was a phenomenal year for anybody to open a business. So we're excited to still be here. Thank you guys so much for having us on. By the way, we love being sponsor for Boscoe's Boys. Philip, it's finally nice to meet you. We get it. We love being on this as well. So thanks for having us. I'm excited to try some Pop-Tarts and beer.
Yeah.
I just appreciate that you guys bought in on this idea that I randomly pitched out. I'm not like, this was literally hey, I've got a weird idea. Hey, Scott, do you think? And he's like, just email them and see what they say. And the response I got back from you guys was 1000% end quote. I just like, as people who have set up a brewery in Manhattan, Kansas, wearing quite a bit of purple as well as an ugly Christmas long sleeve t-shirt. Very nice. Bravo. Obviously, I would assume you guys are some diehard Kansas State fans. How you feeling about Kansas State in the Pop-Tarts Bowl later this month?
I mean, I guess I'm the biggest K-State fan, but I'm excited for it. It's a good bowl. I think we're right where we're supposed to be. After the year that we had. I mean, a little bit of a disappointing year, but to be honest with you, like we still finished off pretty strong. I was happy with being in the Pop-Tarts Bowl for sure. And NC State is a good team, so we're going up against a really, really solid team.
We get the hang of this. All right, Scott, as our resident Kansas State podcast host, how are you feeling about the Wildcats in the Pop-Tarts Bowl against North Carolina State? I'm pumped about 28th. It. I think 28th. Yeah.
Yeah. Day after my 32nd birthday, actually. So I turned 32 on December 27th, a birthday that no one cares about, but that's okay. I'm pumped about it. We're going to get to see Avery Johnson, a game plan for Avery Johnson. And there's a certain beer we might be tasting a little bit later. That was a collaboration with the man who will be calling the plays of the Pop-Tarts Bowl. So, I won't give away which beer that is, but I'm excited to see that. I think Connor Riley, it sounds like he might be getting the full-time job, and I think he's a brilliant coach. So we're going to see a little bit of taste of Connor Riley calling offense for Avery Johnson. And I'm pumped about it. I love college football. I love K-State football. I think we're going to beat NC State and finish the year ranked in the top 20, and it'll take a little bit of that pain away from the snow game. I never want to see snow ever again.
I do like this whole Kansas State deciding, hey, let's just test out our new OCs in the bowl game, just to give everyone a little taste, a little excitement, something to be excited about heading into the next year. I mean, this will be the second time, obviously. Klein did it. Sorry, Klein did it 2 years ago, and now we're going to have potentially the new guy. So we have picked this order that we are going in very particular order. We have 4 combinations of beers from Manhattan Brewing Company and Pop-Tart flavors. All have been chosen for various reasons. I'm going to kind of go through the order. We're going to start off with unfrosted strawberry with Tang Party. Okay, the reason for that is that Jerome Tang's favorite Pop-Tart is apparently the Pop-Tart of sociopaths, unfrosted. And so, of course, we're going to pair it with the beer that carries his name. In second order tonight, we're doing the frosted blueberry. Okay. For those of you following along at home, I know Allison is doing so. I know she asked to be able to do so. And of course, the championship run Blueberry Hefeweizen, which was in collaboration with President Richard Linton. No current comment on that. We lost the brewery. It's okay. They're back. They're here.
Oh my God. I was worried.
We're doing it.
I didn't want to do this with just Philip, guys. No offense to Philip. You guys know what you're talking about.
Number 3 tonight is the frosted chocolate fudge, which is apparently Coach Kleiman's favorite Pop-Tart flavor. And that is paired with I think the one I'm most excited for, which is the Bourbon Barrel Reserve Series. This looks, oh guys, you got to understand, like this is heaven in a can for me. And then we're going to wrap it up with the one that the most people on social media said that they were excited about. This, folks, is what you call a tease to build anticipation and keep people around for the end of said live podcast by pairing the frosted brown sugar cinnamon Pop-Tart with the magnificent double hazy IPA. I know that some of you are like, that's the one we want to try. Well, great. Stick around. You're going to find out how it goes together. Do we need any further introductions here, folks, or should we start doing some tasting?
Let's do it.
Let's eat. Started.
Okay. I like this. All right. I'm going to everybody kind of unwrap. And while we prepare this combination of flavors, what I'm going to do is mute myself and Scott. And oh, good. These are stuck together because they're unfrosted and no one should ever buy unfrosted. I have a 16 pack of the unfrosted strawberry, which was the most for some strange reason. I believe it's because Walmart was like, no, we just wants 8 of these. I'm going to, while I do that, because I'm going to let
you're a maniac. I toasted all mine beforehand, Philip.
I'm going to let Manhattan Brewing Company crew talk to us about Tang Party, how this came to be, and what we should expect as we enjoy this brew.
I don't know how he eats this Pop-Tart. I just wanted you guys to know. This is
unfrosted Pop-Tart. That is just insanity.
It's insane. Anyway, so Tang Party. So we actually made this beer for our anniversary party in 2021.
Yeah, it was our 1-year anniversary.
Yeah. And then we called it Tangerine Party. We had it on tap. Everyone loved it. We sold out really quickly. It was a really small batch of it. And then when Coach Tang got hired, we immediately were like, we got to bring this one back. And so we brought it back, called it Tang Party. Right before we released it, like about a week before, buddy of ours, Josh Lynch, shout out, said, why don't you guys like tweet at the K-State coaches? They're really active on social media. You never know. Like tweet at them and let them know like, hey, we're releasing this beer. Would you guys be interested in coming in to try it? And so we're like, okay, fine. We did it. And lo and behold, they reached out to us. They loved it. They were actually out of town the day that we released it. And so they asked if we could release it a day earlier so they could come in. They brought the whole coaching staff in. Coach Tang got behind the bar. He poured himself a couple beers. Admittedly, not a beer guy. He likes wine, but he does love this beer.
He was very attentive on the tour. He's a very attentive guy. He was very interested in what we were talking about. He's interested in the science. It was really cool to get a chance to talk to him. He's truly a very nice man.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Yeah. So we had a great time with him, and he actually, we'd see him at the brewery over the course of that whole summer, and he'd come in and bring his family in. they'd buy a bunch of 4-packs of it or a bunch of crowlers of it, and he'd hand it out to a bunch of people. And he always tells us that. And then we re-released it this past summer, and we brought the whole staff back in, but they came in really quickly. They just stopped by to say hi, and they were telling us that they like to tell recruits as they come in that coach has his own beer, and they like to brag about it and everything. So it's pretty cool. But
Sure. Well, I guess the reason, you already said the reason we put those together was obviously a beer for Coach Tang, and then Coach Tang's favorite Pop-Tart, the sociopath one.
it actually tastes better than I thought it was going to.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like that. The brightness from the beer kind of goes well with that jammy strawberry kind of taste, and that plain crackery taste from the strawberry.
Like eating saltine.
It goes well with the wheat beer as well. I don't know. I feel like it. I wasn't very enthusiastic about this pairing. I get why we did it, but it's a lot better than what I thought it was going to be. I don't know what you guys think, or what you guys think.
I'll say anything with Tang Party's great. I'll tell you this: every time I go in there and it's on tap, it's one of the first ones I choose. And anytime I'm bringing in someone from out of town, say, "Hey, you gotta try this." So, if anything, choking on the plain Pop-Tart.
There's that dry.
I talk too much.
frosted.
See, I was gonna say anything could make that taste good, but I'm choking on it. So I'm just gonna have to pour more of the beer and drink that.
It's like
kudos
putting
to you
jam
guys.
on a saltine. That's what it's like.
That's
on
exactly
a dry
what
biscuit.
it is. But the beer's delicious, and we'll just say that.
The pairing is fantastic. I'm gonna be honest. Like, sours are not my favorite kind of beer. I like a dark beer. I like a brown. But that's tasty, and it is like there's a lightness to it, as opposed to a hard sour. Like that is that's tasty. I enjoy the tangerine flavor. There's a nice combination of fruit flavors with the strawberry there. I would never suggest eating an unfrosted Pop-Tart to anyone ever again, and I wouldn't suggest it to any of you out there who are currently watching us. If anybody wants to hop in the comments, has anything to say, all of you who are watching, feel free to do so. If you've got questions for the Manhattan Brewing Company crew while we do this, if you've got questions for Scott, if you've got questions for me, whether you want to talk Big 12, Kansas State, beer, whatever it is, let us know. This feels like just a great way to wrap up a podcast season by drinking beer and eating Pop-Tarts with some good people. All right. We're going to go ahead and move on because I don't want to take another bite of unfrosted strawberry Pop-Tart. I don't know about you guys. So we're going to move on to the next combination here. We're doing aluminum foil. Always a pleasure. The frosted blueberry. Thank goodness. Now, I'm going to say that the brewing crew came up with this combination. And I am excited for this blueberry Hefeweizen because I do like a good fruit beer. Sometimes they are knock it out of the park, and sometimes they're like, oh, cool, you put fruit in beer. We'll see how that goes. So I'm very interested to try this pairing. And so while I do so, Manhattan Brewing Company guys, why don't you tell us a little bit about this blueberry Heffen?
Yeah. So before I really get into it, I just want everyone to know that Garrett's strategy with Pop-Tarts is he eats all the way around it so that the really good stuff is left towards the end.
I tend to do that too.
Get rid of the bad stuff first.
I like to combine them all together because, you get the good all the way through, but he likes to get the good. So got to give props to that. So anyway, championship run. President Linton, we all know and love.
Yep.
He came into the brewery over the summer. He's actually was quite a regular at the brewery over the summer. We saw him quite a bit. Super awesome, nice guy. We genuinely really like President Lynn. He's a really nice guy. He came in all the time, him and his wife. They'd sit at the bar. You would honestly think they were just two normal people coming in.
I had an entire conversation with him once and had no idea who he was. He's just a normal, nice guy. He's not blurting out, into the ether that he is the president of the college and all that. He's a really good conversationist and a beer lover, come to find out. So
yeah, he has an ag background, and so he brewed his own beer. He loves beer. He loves the whole process. So when he was talking to us, he actually approached us about doing a beer with him, and we were like, yeah, we would definitely do that. And it was his idea to do a blueberry Hefeweizen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Garrett and I were just kind of at the brewery on a Saturday, I think, and President Linton just came in, like a normal day, and just sat down at the bar, and we started talking to him. I think that's probably when we started to figure out who it was. And then, yeah, just like, well, I know we were talking about doing a beer together, and we asked him what he thought, and then he just said Blueberry Hefeweizen. It was one of those easy collaborations where they just know what they want, and we're like, yeah, we can make that work.
So we were very skeptical, honestly. Like we, a blueberry and Hefeweizen flavors. You're like, because Hefeweizens are very much, banana, clovey. They got that German kind of a little bit of a funk to them. And adding blueberry to it, we were a little skeptical, but it turned out really, really great. I think it was a great combination. It was actually your idea to make it purple, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the blueberry that we use, blueberry doesn't tend to turn it purple. You have to use a lot of it to turn it purple. So we've done it once before where we use pea flour, which when you add it to something, it's normally blue, but when it's in an acidic environment, it turns purple. And we're like, let's just dump it in there and see what happens. And it turned it purple. So it worked out.
And to turn the outside of our tank purple and our floor purple, and because it's this dust that just like it gets everywhere, and as soon as you get it wet, it gets everything purple. So my brew house was a complete mess when we made this beer. But
Which, by the way, if no one knows this on there, Garrett is from Nebraska.
I was
He
gonna,
is-
I was
he
gonna
is a
keep that
big
one down low.
Nebraska. And
So
so,
I want to fight him right now, then.
yes, absolutely.
Maybe
This is
after,
the worst day to have it because of this.
maybe after a couple of beers, we'll duke it out.
It's probably a good
But
thing
anyway.
I'm back in Shawnee because
Yeah.
you'd kick my ass. I'm a lover, not a fighter, so I'm pretty sure you'd kick my ass.
All right, the pairing. I mean, I think they go well together. Like it's a kind of a natural blueberry on blueberry. The sweetness pairs well with the beer, I think.
Yeah, sure. Very dry beer, so a nice sweetness from the Pop-Tart really helps balance everything out.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I have a question about the beer for the brewery crew because I saw some of it on Twitter because I was pumped when this came out. I tweeted about it. How many, beer hardos or random German people got mad that you guys were turning a Hefeweizen purple?
I don't think I've had anybody be upset that's said anything to me at least. There might be somebody that's upset about it, but same people that are going to be upset with fruit in any kind of beer.
Yeah, it was the exact same people. Like I didn't. Maybe there might have been a few people that like, I don't like my fruit in the beer, but it was more on social media that you saw that than face to face. Honestly, when you try this, it tastes more like a traditional German Hefeweizen than it does like a super fruity sweet beer. So I think that kind of helps a lot too with it.
In all honesty, though, Adam and I are more along the lines of a traditional beer, but when we do these collaborations, it tends to get a little more fun. So people like to put fruit and things and different flavors just to church it up a little bit. So
Hi, Chloe. Sorry, I had to wave at my daughter.
I love this combination. I because it is the Pop-Tart is sweet and the beer is not so sweet, and so it is a very nice pairing. I like blueberry, also purple beer. Like we do green beer, and it just tastes like beer every St. Patrick's Day. Like there's nothing beyond just being green. The fact that you guys have a purple beer in Manhattan, I mean, it seems obvious, but it's not like I'm gonna go to Norman and necessarily find a true red beer or go down to Austin. Oh, a lot of beers burn orange. Better option, Baylor. Well, they can make green beer. I'm not sure it tastes good. Point is, like that you made a purple beer is awesome because I opened it, was just like, oh, that is not beer color. Oh, that's good. And this is a tasty beer. So props to President Linton for coming up with this, making you guys create a blueberry Hefeweizen because I never would have thought of that either. And I think it's pretty dang good. Scott, what do you think?
Oh, I love this beer. I want to give a shout out to one of my best friend's girlfriends. It's not a Jesse's girl situation, but she and Matt. So it's Matt and Heather. They joined me on the drive from Topeka to Manhattan for that Iowa State game. Usually a 45-minute drive. It was 2.5 hours. We stopped at Manhattan Brewing Company. This was her favorite beer. She bought 2 crowlers of it, and then they left them in my car. So then I got to drink them when they were back in Chicago. So I love the beer. I've had it Probably had a gallon or two of it at this point. So it's delicious. So 2 thumbs up from me. Although I still to this day have not had a beer I haven't loved from them. So you're probably asking
That's called making your advertising partners happy. That's good job. Good job, Scott. We appreciate that from you. Okay.
People would know. I've lied. I've lied about advertisers before. If people go back and hear some of the old advertisers, I'm not lying about these guys. It is the best beer in the state of Kansas and the region, and the best vibes ever. You guys also have the best taproom staff. So shout out to the staff.
This is the moment where we say, like, and at some point I'm going to make a trip to Manhattan because Scott will have to meet me there, and I will be coming down to the brewery because I'm very excited. Okay, we're going to do our third pairing. And the reason that we chose the fudge Pop-Tart, frosted, not unfrosted. I showed you the unfrosted side. That feels inappropriate. Is because this is apparently Coach Kleiman's favorite Pop-Tart, not a sociopath. And we're pairing it with, y'all, this is my kind of, you tell me you put a strong ale and you age it. You didn't just age it in bourbon barrels. Fellas, you didn't bullet, which is, this makes me happy. So while I enjoy this, and I haven't finished one of them yet because, it's a Sunday night and I have to go to work tomorrow. I might let you guys go along just so I actually can finish this one and hope that I'm not too schnockered out for the last one, the one that everyone's been waiting for. So I'm going to let you guys talk about the Manhattan Brewing Company Reserve Series Manhattan Bourbon. Oh, I want to eat now. So you guys go ahead.
Oh, God. Oh, so yeah. So before we talk about the beer and the pairing, which by the way is amazing, I want to give a shout out to Bullet. We actually partnered up with them earlier this year to do a whole shot and a beer program throughout the entire state of Kansas. Also, shout out to Standard Beverage, who's our distributor, who hooked us up with the contacts there, which is really awesome. We got together and we're their 31st or 33rd brewery. I can't remember which one that they've paired up with across the United States. By far the smallest one. We are by far the smallest brewery they paired with.
So we feel proud.
Yeah.
The party that came from was Shiner.
Yeah. They just did a Shiner launch in Texas, which Shiner's huge. So we were very honored that they picked us. They, again, same thing. They loved us. They loved the vibe. They loved the beers. They actually came to the brewery to do this whole huge launch. They brought the little Woody wagon that they have. That's really cool. We got to meet a bunch of guys from Bull. It was really awesome. I'm going to ramble on a little bit about it. They were awesome. They were really good people. We feel honored that they're with us. But with our partnership, they also give us barrels. So they give us up to like 60 barrels a year. And so the first one we did, we wanted to do a recreation of the classic cocktail, the Manhattan. And I'll let Adam talk about the beer. But
yeah, so when we got that partnership, again, they were just giving us a bunch of barrels to do a bunch of beers, and so trying to figure out what to do, I just started making a giant list, and the first thing that came to my mind was doing a Manhattan. I mean, we did an old Manhattan cocktail-inspired beer right when we opened, like right before we opened with Central Standard Brewing, but kind of wanted to revisit that idea, and then I thought it would be fun to do it where you have a bourbon and a rye, since you can order a Manhattan cocktail, bourbon or rye whiskey. So we aged it, and so we did an American strong ale. Thought that was neutral, still a little fruity, high alcohol, be perfect for this style. Then we aged it in 2 Bullet bourbon barrels, 2 Bullet rye barrels, and then 2 wine barrels. And that wine was kind of the vermouth in a way. So then we blended the 2 bourbon and 1 wine, and then the 2 rye and 1 wine, and yeah, decided to put them in mixed 4-packs, and thought you gotta have both.
holy shit, this pairing is perfect.
It's pretty good.
And I'm not sure if I'm supposed to cuss or not. But holy crap, this is really good. I'm gonna save my vote till the end, but this is a great pairing.
I'm not gonna lie, it like the actual pairing is way better than I thought it was gonna be. I know I love this beer. I've had this beer a handful of times now, but it literally, I mean, this should be, advertised with Pop-Tarts. If they're watching, reach out to Manhattan Brewing Company and make this the real deal, because holy moly.
Yeah, no, this is great. This is perfect. Shout out to Coach Kleiman for that one.
Yeah.
His favorite one, right? That's what.
That's right.
Correct.
That's right. So
Yep.
we would suggest you send him a pack of this and a box of Pop-Tarts and be like, hey, in your honor, we did this. You guys should test it. Are you guys gonna add your thoughts to adding Pop-Tarts just like to the menu at the brewery, just so people want to do this?
We serve pretzels and Pop-Tarts.
Oh my God, we would sell so much Pop-Tarts.
You serve pretzels from about 8 until 11, and then from 11 to 2, all anybody wants to buy is Pop-Tarts. That's about right. That seems about. And after any Kansas State game.
We're not talking about the game today.
You muted yourself out.
It's hard to manage all these mics. I was gonna say what game? Because the bowl game is not for another like week, so I don't know. I don't know, you guys.
Literally nothing else happened today.
No,
I wasn't in Manhattan today. No, it definitely was not. Nothing.
This
was
is so good.
happening.
I'm gonna finish this Pop-Tart and this beer, so we might take it. We're gonna get to the next one. I'll ask the NBC crew. We're gonna call you NBC crew since that's what it says down there. Brian Metcalf asks, "Do you do sales outside of the state? Would love to try some of your stuff in the Tulsa area. Closest thing to purple beer we got is a grape clubby. I'm not actually sure what that is, Brian.
So we do not right now. We're still we're still very, very small. But there's also we all three of us came from a bigger brewery, Tallgrass Brewing Company, and we were distributed in 22 states or
A lot.
we were a lot. It was
Too many.
a lot. There's a lot of headaches once you get outside of your state's border. You're no longer just dealing with your state. You're dealing with the TTB. You're dealing with federal laws. You're dealing with other state laws, and it is a massive headache. And so there's that. We don't really want to get outside of our borders because of that. But also, we don't even produce enough beer for the demand in our own state right now. And so we want to like stay close in for now. We never say never though. So we might end up getting outside of the state of Kansas at some point, but
Maybe get up into Nebraska, you know.
yeah, Nebraska needs more purple anyway. So does Oklahoma and Missouri.
Can we buy Manhattan Brew online? Do you guys do online sales?
Beer we can't ship or anything, unfortunately.
Yeah.
We just do it to go here.
Kansas beer laws. Other states can, but Kansas, you can ship wine, you can ship cider, can't ship beer or hard liquor. So beer is considered basically hard liquor here.
Yeah, because we drove the beer up to you to get it to you.
Yes.
Remember?
It was the Cannonball Run. I met you guys down in Pittsburgh, Kansas, and then I took it from Pittsburgh, Kansas over to Arkansas.
It was a Smokey and the Bandit kind of thing. Like there's Buford T. Justice is still on Scott's tail somewhere, trying to find him at this very moment. Okay, we've got one more pairing we've got to do here. This is the one that I think the most people I saw on Twitter were like, that one sounds great. I want to try that. That sounds delicious. And that is the combination of the frosted brown sugar cinnamon and the Condor the Magnificent Double Hazy IPA. And if I recall correctly, we have been talking for some time because I've had some ideas I'd like to do with some breweries that are associated with Big 12 teams. And this is the one that we have talked about the most, is one that I'm most excited to try. I'm going to tell you the bourbon one, the bourbon barrel, guys. That one will get finished tonight. The others, we'll see, but that one will get finished first because that is so good. You guys knocked that one absolutely out of the park, and that pairing is just like with the chocolate, because chocolate's rich, and that is an incredibly rich Pop-Tart with the fudge in there, and to pair it with that beer. I want to just like start serving that at parties and being like, look how cool I am. I do Pop-Tarts. And what did you bring? A charcuterie board? No. Pop-Tart and beer board. That's what we have today. Just the shot glasses of beer and Pop-Tart samplers, because we got to fancy it up a little bit. All right, we're going to do this last pairing. As I said, the brown sugar cinnamon Pop-Tart, which is frosted, and Condor the Magnificent, a double hazy IPA. It's the most asked for of the combo. So boys, tell us about Condor the Magnificent, which by the way is an absolutely incredible name for a beer as well.
Yeah, you picking this one?
Sure. So that pairing, So it was with Coach Riley, and we always love Coach. He comes in, whenever he can. And during the season, we don't really see him very often.
We don't see him at all. He doesn't drink during the season ever.
But he was coming in, and we always loved him. So we were like, well, we should do a beer with Coach. And so we sat down with him one day.
Hold on. I'm gonna stop you there. We had actually just done Tang Party,
Oh yeah.
and we all got together. We're like, man, if we're gonna do a beer with the coach, we got to do one with Coach Riley before we do one with Coach Tang. It's like, we don't even know Coach Tang. Like, we know Coach Riley. He comes in here all the time. And then we're like, so we felt really, really bad. And so I had Coach's number, and so I had to text him and be like, hey, Coach, I feel bad. We should have done a collab with you first, but do you want to do a collaboration with us? And he was on a recruiting trip and didn't get back to me the next day. But his response was somewhat to the point of, fuck yeah, I want to do something. Anyway, sorry, Adam.
No. So he came down, and this was another one of those easy collaborations where we just sat down with him and hey, what do you want to do? And he said basically a double hazy IPA. He had that. He threw out hops that he already liked, and so that was easy. I mean, Garrett and I were like, all right, well, we got something. We can throw this together real quick. And we always ask, do you have a name idea? And he was very reluctant to say it. And he's like, yeah, so I had this thing, my coach was, or my brother was a baseball star growing up, and his dad felt bad for him, so he gave him the nickname Condor the Magnificent. So he said that, and we're like, yes, that is the name. And he was like, you can shut it down if you want. And no. And,
It was amazing.
yeah.
We like right away, we were just like, oh my God, that's the most perfect beer name. Yeah.
The pairing.
Uh,
Do you want to talk about the pairing?
So I wanted. This was my fault. This was not a good pairing. Brown sugar cinnamon is by far my favorite one, and I wanted to incorporate it somehow. And so I was like, let's throw in a wild card here. It didn't work, but the psychopath unfrosted strawberry works pretty well with it too, though. So.
I mean, saltines work with everything. So, we're just, flavorless biscuits, I guess you could call it. It's not the best pairing here. It's not. I'm a little disappointed, as excited as everybody was, because the cinnamon and the IPA sound like it'd be a good combination. But I'm not. The beer is fantastic. And the Pop-Tart, it's two things that are both really good, and you would like them to be really good together. But name two of your favorite things just off the top of your head, and they probably don't work, and that's okay. This is the best Pop-Tart, by the way. This is, of all the Pop-Tarts, this is the best. This is a Pop-Tart. This beer is fantastic. And if Coach Riley's offense is as good as this beer is, Kansas State fans are going to be very, very excited about football season next year. Scott, what are your thoughts, man?
Well,
Did you take another bite of unfrosted? What are you coughing up?
No, I probably have a cold. I'm really just trying to stop myself, and I blame the Manhattan the strong ale because I drank it all. So I really just want to make jokes about the two things that I like most in the world, and make a Clay Travis joke. But I'm not going to. But yeah, I love the beer and I love the Pop-Tart. Do they pair well? I mean, look, it's 8:30 at night, and I liked both of them. So, I mean, it is what it is.
I would say let me finish the bourbon one, and this will taste great together. Okay, so
honestly, look, if you have a good beer and then you have some Pop-Tarts, and you're just talking with buddies.
Yeah.
And it just so happens that millions and millions of people are also watching it and probably cyberbullying me in the comments. I mean, it is what it is. That's what happens when I do YouTube shows with you. I saw that one comment.
I appreciate millions of.
All right, so I did want to point something out because I think this is really funny. So we made this label for Coach.
Oh, yeah. There's a number right there, 68.
Yeah. So we collaborated on this label. He didn't know anything about
It
it.
was a surprise
With
to me.
the Phoenix kind of rising from the ashes, condor type of thing. Adam had another idea for the label, and we presented that to him. You want to tell him
No,
about
well, we presented it to Christy, his wife, first, but
Yeah, she told us we should go this route, that this is safer. But my idea, so if you can look up the original Conan the Barbarian movie poster, it's got Conan up there, big muscular guy, lady on the leg, he's holding the sword up. I wanted that with Coach's face on it.
and Christy's face on the girl.
Yeah, maybe having holding the beer up and a condor on his arm or something.
Oh, it was glorious.
But yeah, I didn't get my way.
So Christy, we sent it to him, and Christy laughed, and she said, "I don't know if Coach would actually like that or not. Like maybe we should go something safer." And so then the day we released the beer and we surprised Coach, the day we surprised Coach with the beer, we told him about this idea, and his response is, "Why the fuck did you guys do that one?" We're like, "Damn it!"
Well, and it would have worked because they always take those shirtless pictures after road wins. The offensive line, they take the, topless photos on the opposing team stadium field. I think the next batch, you need to go to the original idea.
You need a special edition. If when he is named the official offensive coordinator for Kansas State, you need a special edition can that's out for just like one batch until it's gone. And that's the can. You can go back to the original, but you need a special edition can. And by the way, when it's out, I would like one. Just have Scott driving up to me, Smoking the Bandit style. And because I think that can would sell out so fast. And you just give him a complimentary 6-pack of it. And like I don't know. Can coaches do NIL? Can you sell T-shirts with it on it as well?
We're learning more about that. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, Coach would absolutely love it. By the way, shout out to Coach Riley. I know he's definitely watching this along with the other millions of fans that are too. So shout out to Coach. He's going to show this to all the recruits that come in. But
that needs to be his recruiting page. Just make him the shirt with that picture and let him wear it on recruiting visits. If you could just bring the can with that picture on it, be like, do you want to play for somebody else? Or do you want to play for someone who has their face on this beer can right here? Because I think I would pick the guy who has his face on a Conan the Barbarian knockoff beer can cover, because that sounds absolutely incredible. To the millions of people watching, God, I love all of you. You're killing me with this. Brian and Allison both have been in the comments. Anybody else who's watching wants to hop in the comments, please do so. If you have any questions for Scott or myself or for the Manhattan Brewing Company crew, we would love to hear them. We're going to drink a little bit longer here and then wrap this up, because I'm 90% sure that the bourbon can is starting to kick my ass, and the other three are just like along for the ride. But this has been absolutely fantastic, guys. I'm going to give you an opportunity, because I really do want to say thank you to the Manhattan Brewing Company crew for agreeing to do this, and I am making this officially something that I now want to do every year moving forward, as long as there is a Pop-Tarts Bowl. And by God, if they screw us the way the Cheez-It Bowl did and bolt off to be an ACC whatever conference, I'm not gonna do that gesture because there might be kids watching. There's not, but it's okay. Look, there's been F-bombs dropped at this point. It doesn't really matter. As long as there's a Pop-Tarts Bowl and the Big 12 is part of it and there's a Big 12 team playing with it, I'm going to do this thing every year, also because it's really fun to drink beer and eat Pop-Tarts and talk to people.
Well, I want to pull rank actually and say, if you don't do a specific beer and something pairing with Manhattan Brewing Company, regardless of what bowl game K-State's in, every December, then I'm just going to have to do it myself, which originally I was not going to let you be part of whatever show concept we came up with. But when you came to me with that idea, I said, I'm going to be a good member of the network. I'm going to bring Philip in on this. So you're welcome is all.
It was a good, I don't get very many good ideas. It's a great
concept. I've
and
enjoyed
when
it.
Everyone's, and very rarely do I put one out there and like, I get a little bit of interest and they're always like, yeah, 1,000% was the best response I've ever had with something. Dylan, if I mispronounce your last name, man, I'm going to apologize. It's spelled Sawyer. And if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. He's asking the NBC crew thoughts on the tall grass recipes that Wichita Brewing is putting out. I've lived in Texas for 6 years, so forgive me if I'm not up to speed.
Oh, Garrett just left Bill.
He just walked away.
Honestly, I'm glad someone has taken those recipes and have recreated them. That's amazing. As I mentioned before, we all worked at Tallgrass for a long time. I think these guys know pretty much all those recipes by heart.
Yep.
But I couldn't be happier that an awesome brewery like Wichita Brewing has taken those and they're doing a great job with them. They make great beer. So if you get them, try them out. They taste great. Make sure to get some 8-bit, try some Buffalo Sweat. It's all great. So,
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys had anything.
Just reiterate what Jake said. I spent a lot of years brewing a lot of Buffalo Sweat and a lot of 8-bit and Ethos and all those good beers. So it is really cool to see somebody pick up the helm and carry on that brand name because it is great beer, and it would be a shame to see it go. So
God, that's not a good pairing.
yeah, it's really bad.
It's a really bad pairing.
I have a Buffalo Sweat story since you three worked there. That was the first craft beer I ever had. And I'm not going to say how old I was when I had it. But when I had it and then I had Ethos after that, I was like, all right, I'm a craft beer guy for the rest of my life. So to you guys who were there, congratulations for making me probably 100 pounds fatter than I already am. But I'm glad that you guys have this current one because there's nothing better than going into that tap room down on Points Avenue and getting it straight from the source. So I'm going to finish off this Tang party. I'm going to be pretty buzzed by the end of the show. So shout out to you three.
All right, so let's wrap up with this. We have to rank these. So we're gonna let everybody rank their 4 through 1, and I'll rank mine. I'll let Scott, and we'll Manhattan Brewing Company wrap up theirs. By the way, I'm glad I pronounced your last name correctly, Dylan. I'm not saying it again. And Allison, yes, beer and chocolate is an underrated combo. It is an underappreciated combination. Beer and chocolate is just. Also, by the way, the bourbon pairs with everything. I just want you guys to know that. So you could just do it with all the Pop-Tarts. I'll go in 4th place. It's not about the pairing. It's a personal bias. I'm not the biggest fan of sours, and it's an unfrosted Pop-Tart. So it's strawberry and Tang because it's two things that I'm just like, I appreciate the skill and the people love sours. I used to be a diehard Prairie Brewing guy as a guy from Oklahoma, and then all they produce is sours now, and they barely even produce the Christmas bomb. And also they sold the brewery and started something else to do it. So, anyways, point is that's my number 4. Number 3 is the Championship Run and the Blueberry. It's very good. It's a solid pairing. I think it's a good combination. It's blueberry on blueberry. It's 2 different flavors. One's sweet, one's not. It's good. I like the cinnamon and the Condor. And again, I may just drink a lot of the bourbon barrel, and so it may have just made it taste just okay. And number 1 is the bourbon barrel and the chocolate, in part because y'all, I'm just a bourbon barrel beer is y'all, I can't. It's just so good. It's just so good. I if anybody knows, and I'm not here to plug other breweries because none of them are sponsors. Mother's Brewing is one of my favorite things, and the now known as the Mater Familias, used to be known as the MILF, is one of the best things of all time. But I'm
Damn
gonna tell you right now, guys,
PC culture runing beer names. I tell you what,
I know. Like I just go back to MILF. As somebody who lives in Arkansas, it's available here. But I'm gonna tell you. I look for a Mater Familias every year as like a Christmas gift to myself. If this is ever sold in the state of Arkansas, it might take its place. This is a damn good beer, boys. Scott, 4-1.
Number 4, Condor and the brown cinnamon sugar. I'll be honest. I know everyone loves the brown cinnamon sugar Pop-Tart. Pure Pop-Tart, probably the bottom of the barrel. And then the flavors, individually fine. The Condor by itself, good. But if we're doing pairings, that is number 4. Number 3 actually is going to be, I'm surprising myself saying this. It's going to be the Championship Run and the Blueberry. Because I think Tang Party and, again, the strawberry jam on the saltine, I think it really worked. I really like those two together, but it is in a world of its own. I really think that there needs to be a special brewery event, on the 28th, where you are pairing different chocolate Pop-Tarts with the strong ale aged in bullet bourbon. So That's my number one, and quite frankly, it's not even close. So that's 4-1 for me. I'm interested what the actual professionals have to say, though.
Professionals, that's nice. Thank you.
We'll get them here in a second.
They're on their way.
Oh,
I'll go first. So 4 for me, the Condor and brown sugar. I mean, just because it's your favorite beer and your favorite Pop-Tart doesn't make it a good combo, but that's okay. The beer's fantastic. Brown sugar cinnamon is not my favorite Pop-Tart. You were putting words in my mouth with that. 3 is the Tang Party and the strawberry. Also not a sour beer drinker, so it makes me a little biased on this one, but pure pairings, Tang and strawberry does okay. 2 is the Champ Run and frosted blueberry. They're very synergistic. Both have blueberry. The sweetness complements the dryness of the beer. So very good pairing, I think. And then the obvious one is the bourbon barrel aged strong ale with the chocolate fudge. Just fantastic.
You want to go? You want me to go?
I can go. Then you can
I'll finish off with the fire.
Yeah, you can, yeah. So it's going to be repeated from what Garrett just said, but yeah, my least favorite was the Condor and the brown sugar cinnamon, which I do love the brown sugar cinnamon. That's my favorite Pop-Tart. I love Condor. Not a good pairing. That freeze
S'mores
does not go
Pop-Tarts.
well.
All the way, baby.
Then third, Tang Party strawberry. I do think they go well together. It's just the thing that gets me. I mean, it's sour beer, and I don't drink sours that much anymore. But the orange and the strawberry, they kind of match, but not 100%. And then the blueberry Champ Run. Yeah, just like Garrett said, they are very synergistic. They go well together because they both have blueberry. I mean, of course, that's going to match. Then finally, just like everyone else so far, the bourbon and the fudge. They what?
I know what Jake's going to do.
They go very well together. I think that bourbon character, it just matches, like the vanilla and coming from the barrels and whatnot. It matches well with that chocolate, and it just, yeah, they just work 100%, which I was kind of surprised at. But, yeah.
Okay, I just want to start this off by saying Condor is probably one of our best or our favorite beers. If not like number one, it's up like number 1, number 2, number 3 for all 3 of us for beers we've ever made. Saying that out there.
He's just trying to suck up to Coach Riley right now.
Because my number 4 is definitely Condor with the brown sugar. Even though brown sugar is the best Pop-Tart, and we'll be sponsoring a different podcast from then on because Scott doesn't like brown sugar podcast. I'm just kidding, Scott. We love Boscoe's boys.
I was gonna say man, that was gonna hurt my feelings. I'll lie. I talked about using Blue Chew when I was not using Blue Chew. I will lie about whatever beer you guys need me to keep this partnership going.
Like I had to sell those razors, okay, for 1 month, and it was one of the worst months of the podcast. So like we've all done what we have to do to make ends meet. It's okay, Scott. We get it.
Okay, so my number 3 is actually the championship run with the blueberry Pop-Tart. I think it was a good pairing. I actually a little different than these guys. I don't drink a lot of Hefeweizens. I'm not a big fan of that kind of flavor. But I do appreciate the beer, I appreciate the style. I just personally don't drink a lot of it. And so that's number 3 for me. Good pairing, but I think I would rather go with number 2, which was Tang Party with the Psychopath unprocessed strawberry, which my wife also, it's her favorite Pop-Tart, which explains a lot because I'm pretty sure she's plotting to kill me at any moment.
Way to brag about having a wife. Congrats.
But yeah, number 1, that was an easy one. It was the Manhattan bourbon with the fudge. I mean, it was so good. And obviously, it's Pop-Tart Bowl, so you got to go with Coach Lyman's. So even though our offensive coordinator got unanimous number 4,
No, I gave it number 2. but it might be the beer talking. Look, two things. Number one, I'm going to mute the NBC crew because I'm officially going to put the bourbon barrel and the chocolate Pop-Tart on the menu. So if anybody of you want to go to the brewery and have that combo, you're welcome to do so. We'll talk to Pop-Tart. Also, like, look, my wife asked me not to drink all of these during this live show before I came to bed. And I'm not going to.
Way to brag about having a wife, Philip.
I'm not going to finish all four. It's not going to matter. And this is why. And that's okay because I'm going to finish this and the double IPA. And I'm probably going to finish the blueberry Heffen. I'm not going to finish the Tang. Again, not the biggest sour guy, but that's okay. It's still a good beer. So this has been a ton of fun. And thank you to everybody who has been watching the show. I think I have a friend in England who was going to tune in. We'll see if he actually did or not. I don't know. He tweeted me he was going to. And, you know, he didn't get in the comments, James. We'll see if he did or not. Scott, as always, I love the Bosco's boys. I love Kansas State. I love all Big 12 schools, but I love having you in the network. And I want you to plug it all, man. Plug the show. And by the way, the Cocaine Willie hat.
Yeah.
I'm wearing the Manhattan Brewing Company sent me a hat. I'm going to wear it. Now, I'm not the biggest flat bill guy because I think I look like an idiot in flat bills. But I wore this for you. Okay? This will go on the hat. One day, the dream is that the 10 Tool podcast will have regular live shows, and there'll be a wall behind me that's just filled with hats on the hat wall. This is going on the wall. I want you to know that this will be a hat wall. It's going to happen. Scott, plug it away, sir.
All right, Bosco's boys. From August through the balance of the year, 5 shows a week, including holidays. Monday, so tomorrow, as you guys live folks are listening to millions, I have the architect of the current top 15 Kansas State Wildcats, Jeff Mitty, on the show. Tuesday, it's a super long one. It's our annual drunk Q&A show with the co-founder of the show, Grant Copeland. He's a father. He also brags about being married. He has responsibilities. He can't do a podcast. But once a year, we get drunk and answer all the questions. If you guys want to know anything, I had a couple cocktails before, but then during the show, I'm drinking the Manhattan Brewing Company Strong Ale aged in Bullet Bourbon. So it gets a lot of shout outs throughout that show. So that's on Tuesday. I can't tell you what else is going to happen this week, but 5 shows through the balance of the year at Bosco's Boys, at Scott Wildcat. And I truly mean this, even if they weren't a sponsor. Manhattan Brewing Company, the single greatest brewery ever to exist in the state of Kansas. Every time you're in Manhattan, stop at Points Avenue. Not only is it delicious beer, they talked about it. They have cocktails on tap. If you're not even a beer fan, they have cocktails on tap. The best staff in the world. I've been to over 100 breweries. Always the best staff in the brewery. So shout out to those 3 men and shout out to Manhattan Brewing Company. If I could make Manhattan Brewing Company my wife so I could brag about it on podcasts, I would. But alas, I just have the coolest dog in the world.
I mean, I won't make a comment. I'll say this.
Please don't make a comment because it could have gotten weird there.
Manhattan Brewing Company is not a sponsor on the 1012 podcast or the 1012 network. And I'm not asking you guys to be. I just want to say thank you again for you guys coming on and do this. I'm going to give you your minute, but I'm going to make some dumb comments in a second. I finished the bourbon barrel. My wife is not going to be happy, but I am. I am. And we'll say some stupid stuff. This has been fun. This is our last episode of the year. I think I've got a couple of previously recorded interviews that we're going to throw up for an episode on Thursday, but this is going to come out in podcast land. This is here on YouTube. Thank you everybody for listening. If you have any final comments or questions, throw them in. This is your last chance to do so. I'm going to finish off this one too. Shout out Coach Riley. Okay, I'm gonna end on this question and let you guys plug the brewery because I am a huge fan of any brewery that does anything related to a Big 12 school because we're a Big 12 podcast, a Big 12 network. I love the Big 12. I have to do one thing. I have to remind everybody because this is technically a podcast. This podcast is also officially sponsored by Charlie Hustle, based out of Kansas City. Our friend Charlie Hustle offer vintage-inspired clothing company based out of Kansas City that specializes in collegiate and hometown apparel. I'm having to read a script while I'm inebriated. This is a bad idea. Charlie Hustle wants you to be the – look, you've heard the spiel, unless this is your first time, but I'm going to say this. Charlie Hustle loves the Big 12, okay? They have partnered with the Big 12. They put out a Big 12 shirt. I didn't put it on because I wanted to wear this one because I was already wearing it, and I had to help my wife get some stuff done before the show, and I had like 5 minutes to get it set up so I didn't see any shirts, okay? I got the hat on. That's all that matters. Charlie Hustle is incredible. They love the Big 12. They want to be partnered with the Big 12. They have every Big 12 school but Cincinnati. And if you're a Cincinnati fan who listens to this later or watches this later, sorry, I hit the mic. It's not Charlie Hustle's fault. Blame Cincinnati. Go tweet at Cincinnati, the athletic department, for why they're not on Charlie Hustle. If an apparel company or a brewery doesn't have something that you want in relation to your school, it's the school's fault. Blame the school, not the apparel company or the brewery. They have every Big 12 tool currently, minus Cincinnati, plus Colorado, and the stuff is incredible. Now, look, it's too late to guarantee to have it there on Christmas Day, but we all celebrate with family after Christmas. We all have people that we forgot to get Christmas gifts for. It's okay. Go to charliehustle.com. If something that you see doesn't have a great promotion with it already, then use the promo code 101215 TEN1215 to get 15% off all non-sale items. We love them over there. We love working with them. They make incredible stuff. They love the Big 12, and that's why they're partners with us. So go to charliehustle.com, 101215, or check out all the incredible stuff they have. The varsity, I'm gonna buy a varsity jacket. I haven't worn something that looks like a varsity jacket since I wore a starter jacket back in middle school. So it's about time to get back into that. It was a San Francisco one, by the way. My brother's not watching this, but he said I wasn't a true San Francisco fan because I didn't care as much for the last 10 years until they were winning. I cared when Harbaugh was the head coach. Rant over charliehustle.com. Patrick Riley asks, and I'm going to do this also. I'm going to do two things. One, NBC crew, I'm going to let you plug it all. I'm going to ask two questions. One, Patrick Riley asks, does anyone know where I can find your beers in the Kansas City metro area? Number two, if I were to tell you I want you to make a 10-12 network beer, what would it be?
Okay. I'm going to let these guys think about the 10-12 network one. Kansas City wise, we don't get specifics from our distributor on where we're distributed throughout. I know from experience that there's going to be some Ryman Liquors down in Prairie Village. Shout out to those guys. They're a really amazing crew. I know the owners now, they're amazing. Ryman Liquors will have it. I think it's not Lucas anymore. It's Total Wine. Total Wine will probably carry us. Some of your bigger locations already have it, but literally ask any of your local liquor stores. Anyone can get it. It's available for anybody to buy. So if you don't see it, I think Scott does a wonderful job of this, but it's very true. Just keep bugging him to keep bringing it in. It's worked already. I have really good friends that live in Kansas City that their local liquor store didn't have them in, and they convinced them to bring it in. And now we have multiple SKUs in there, so it's awesome. But as far as the beer goes, do you guys have any ideas for the? They're going to say an IPA.
Yeah, I was going to say IPA. No, it could be a beer that we develop by committee. I'm assuming there's more people that work for the 10-12 network. And if there's just you, okay.
It's
Just
just
all the pods. You get all the pods together.
Yeah.
And if a guy named Andy tries to insert himself, we'll say no.
So it's really whatever Philip wants.
That's it.
What he wants,
He is
that's
the committee.
what we will do.
Yep, the committee of one.
Yeah.
So when are we going to do an Imperial Pumpkin with Bosco's boys is my question.
No, I need a really good stout.
Well, we might have to call mothers for that.
Hey now, Thick Boy was really good. Thick Boy was really good.
Yeah. We could do a really good stout.
Oh yeah. The Imperial Pumpkin.
Well, no, you didn't do it in the
I'm thinking midsummer. Right. July 4th kind of beer.
Good dead of heat type of beer.
They're coming out early and earlier every year, so why not?
I mean, yeah, we haven't done an Imperial Pumpkin yet, but we did a barrel-aged one that was aged in rum barrels and maple barrels.
Yep.
Was that what it was?
Yeah, that was really cool.
So, we just upped that alcohol percentage a little bit. We got ourselves an Imperial.
Yeah. I'm down for that.
You muted yourself, Philip.
Of course I did. It's the alcohol at this point. We're gonna have another conversation, guys, about another a beer run. Another you guys to Scott to me. Buford T. Justice on your tail. If people don't get the reference to Buford T. Justice, like what were you doing in high school and college? I don't understand. Okay, this has been awesome. Shout out to Manhattan Brewing Company. This has been fun. This is going to be an annual thing. I can't wait. And Scott, you're welcome to be an annual guest as well. Hell, Manhattan Brewing Company, we'll get you guys involved. You guys just want to drink other people's beer and drink Pop-Tarts. You're well. Oh yeah.
Before we leave, I wanted to say thank you, Philip, so much for having us on. Scott, as always, thanks for everything, dude. You guys, Boscoe's Boys is awesome. By the way, if you don't follow Boscoe's Boys, follow Boscoe's Boys. If you don't follow 1012, follow 1012. But thank you all so much. Thanks for everyone that's ever bought 1 ounce of Manhattan Brewing Company beer and ever acted like they enjoyed it. We really appreciate it. Thank you all so much.
Yeah,
We
this
really
was
appreciate
fun.
it.
This was fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We had a lot more Pop-Tarts that we were like, oh, we could throw some random ones. That we had like the Apple Jacks one and the
Get that one out of here.
yeah, could throw that away.
Where'd they go?
We had random other ones. We're like, oh, we got all these other beers. We could just start randomly doing it. Now he's just blocking everyone's view.
Sorry.
Too much fun doing these right here. We don't need to bring up any more, and plus, we probably don't need to drink a lot more. So.
Mute. Philip, you muted.
I thank you. This is what I'm glad I have a third person on this. Allison, fun times. Thanks, guys. All I just heard you guys say is that the three of you, myself and Scott, will be back here in March Madness when Kansas State's in the tournament to pair more beers.
I'm not kidding. You just said it. You just committed yourself to it. So, what? It'll be the Monday or Tuesday, or maybe Selection Sunday. Selection Sunday. We're gonna do this again. We're going to do more beers and Pop-Tarts as long as K-State makes the tournament. Because if we don't, I'm gonna be too busy screaming into a pillow until I pass out and fall asleep if we don't make the tournament.
We will do this on Tuesday because it will be after Selection Sunday and Selection Monday. Because shout out,
we're doing this on a Tuesday
to the women's team. Well, we got like the women. Like we're not gonna.
First off, K-State women's basketball, they're gonna be a 2 seed or 3 seed, so we're not gonna have to stress it.
Screw it. We're gonna do this. We're doing this to celebrate the women's team making it as a top 4 seed in the NCAA tournament. That's what we're gonna do because, damn, Ioka Lee deserves some credit. Okay. You know what, boys? Make an Ioka Lee.
No, time out. We're going rogue. We are breaking into Bramlage Coliseum and doing it live from mid-court. And Gene Taylor's going to come in and yell at us, but then he's going to be like, I like beer. And then he's going to join us there.
Look, all I'm going to say is this. The president of the university has a beer with these guys. So y'all start working your magic so that we can be on campus on the Tuesday after Selection Monday. I see Jake's already like tweeting. And doing a YouTube live to celebrate Kansas State in both men and women in the tournament. This is okay. Tune in next month for whatever beer and food pairing that I decide to do with another brewery. This is going to be a 10-12 network thing. I'm drunk, and that's the perfect way to say, y'all have a good night. Everybody, thank you, Manhattan Brewing Company. Thank you, Scott. I knew Allison Renner would be here. I knew she would. Everybody, Dylan, Allison, Patrick, Brian, everybody who watched tonight, thank you. Enjoy the bowl games.